I just killed that thing.
Killed it? You only made it worse.
What are you talking about?
Percy, when you cut off one Hydra head, 2 more grow back.
Hello, and welcome to this week's book presentation on the modern fantasy Percy Jackson. Don't tell my son I'm wearing his Camp Half-Blood t-shirt. But since I bought it for him, I'm just calling it a tax. Okay, so today I am talking about, obviously, Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson is a middle grade novel. So it's designed for anywhere between 10 and 13, although all ages love this book, including me. I wanted to go over the author. The author has so many books that I can't even put them all on one page anymore. Percy Jackson was his first middle grade novels. And then he had the second set of the Heroes of Olympus. Then he went to the Red Pyramid, and now he's on to Magnus Chase. So each of them follow a different mythology. Percy Jackson is Greek mythology, the Red Pyramid is Egyptian mythology, and now Magnus Chase follows Thor and the gods of Asgard. So, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about the book. This is Percy Jackson, and what he is he is a boy who is 10 or 11 when he discovers that he is part God. And being part God is not, sorry, I'm trying to move that up, not all it's cracked up to be. And we'll get to that in a minute. But so he finds out that he is the son of the Greek god Poseidon. So in this world, the Greek gods still live, but they are no longer worshipped. So they are weak because they got their power from people worshiping them. So I wanted to read you the opening line of this book because it is so hilarious, I feel like. Chapter 1, I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading this because you think you might be one, my advice is close this book right now. Believe whatever lie your mom or dad told you about your birth and try to lead a normal life. Being a half-blood is dangerous. It's scary. Most of the time, it gets you killed in painful, nasty ways. So that is your introduction to Percy Jackson. And I love how snarky it is, but and interesting. You know, it just draws you right in. Another thing I think right here, I love the chapter headings. I think they are hilarious. You know, the first one is I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. 3 old ladies knit the socks of death. I mean, these are so funny. I become supreme lord of the bathroom. And that's how this whole book is. So this is why it is so appealing for young readers. So you keep going. And so if we move on, to what makes this a modern fantasy. It suspends your belief. You really think that this could happen in this world right now. It explains why normal people don't see monsters. There's the mist that covers any magic, so we mere mortals don't see it. There's also these fantastic details. He has a really strong relationship with his mom. And she always makes his favorite food to be blue. So she makes him blue chocolate chip cookies and everything like that. And then also he has this ballpoint pen that when he uncaps it, it becomes his sword, which is essential to fighting all the monsters that he comes in contact with. It's consistent. It has these rules of magic in this world, and even though it's in our current world, it explains that away and in a way that is not true, obviously, but makes it feel like it could be. The antagonists are the gods and Cronus and the Titans, but something that throws an extra element of suspense and interest is the monsters that they're constantly fighting, and they're constantly fighting all the monsters from Greek mythology, which is interesting because you don't have to feel weird about Percy always fighting humans. I mean, these are clearly monsters. So there's our chapter headings that I love. And what I love about this book also is it's very inclusive to all types of children. And I'll move this down again. So one of the things is to be a half-blood, it makes it so you actually have some learning disabilities. You have ADHD and dyslexia because your brain is hardwired to read ancient Greece and all of these things. So what it does is it includes a lot of readers that might not be typical readers. And I think that's why this book is so attractive to kids. I actually, I participate in a book club in my son's, it's not book club, but it's similar to a book club in my son's classroom. And I go volunteer each week, and this is the book we just read. And so I asked them why, I asked the 5th graders why they loved this book so much, and because they loved it. And they said they loved the adventure of it. And that's really what they loved, was the adventure of it. But I think it goes deeper than that. It has language that they can understand, and it's funny, and it doesn't talk down to the reader, which I really love. So, and so I was thinking of what are some things that you could do with this book with children, and there are 1.5 million. Literally, I wrote this list in like 15 seconds because there's so much that you could do with it. But you can play Steal the Flag. You can study Greek architecture and art, and you could even make some kind of art with clay or paint. You could write a fantasy story where magic is in our world and nobody else sees it, just like this. And it wouldn't have to follow Greek mythology. It could be anything. You can write a quest story where they have to go through all these different points, because this is what this book is. One of the Greek gods, Zeus, has had his lightning bolt stolen. So everybody thinks that Percy took it because he's the son of Poseidon, but he didn't, but he has to get it back for his quest. So then you could write a quest story. It wouldn't have to even be fantasy. It could be whatever they want, but it has to be a quest where they have to leave home and go these different places to achieve something. They could also plot all the places he visits on a map, because he goes from New York City and he travels all the way across the country, and he can't use an airplane because he's the son of Poseidon, and they are not supposed to be airborne because Zeus could knock them out of the sky. And you could select what cabin you would want to be in Camp Half-Blood. You live in a cabin based on who your parent is, and so you could select which one seems more interesting. And you could also design a cabin, because each one has a very Greek mythology design, and it would be interesting to do that. So that is my book presentation. If you have a chance to check this book out, it's fantastic. And it really is such a great book for readers that maybe are trying to progress past some of the early chapter books and really get into a large book, because they are. This one's the smallest one. The rest of them are ginormous. And but it really draws in hesitant readers and makes it so they can participate in the reading. And so anyway, check it out. And I look forward to seeing your videos this week.